Hello everyone, Mason here. How are you doing? Something a little bit scary but also kind of funny happened to me recently, and I thought that I'd share the story with you. So this is my first ever writing update. Welcome to Beyond the Black Screen. This is pretty exciting for me because it's my first proper AuthorTube video. Even though I've wanted to dip my toe in for a while, I haven't been quite sure how to tackle it, but sharing more about my writing process in 2023 has been a New Year's resolution, so here we go. Over the last year, my main project has been The Bleeding Ground, and although it's been a lot of fun, I also think I underestimated how much hard work writing and narrating my own audiobook was going to be. To be honest, I've been a bit consumed by it. I've found it hard to switch off. There are certain nights where I struggle to get to sleep because my brain will not shut up about what I'm going to write next. However, during November and a good chunk of December, I took a break whilst I was working on a completely unrelated short story. More about that in the future. I had fun with it and learnt a lot in the process, but the challenge that I've been facing over the last few weeks has been readjusting. The short story had a completely different tone to The Bleeding Ground, so switching back has been kinda tough. Honestly, writing The Bleeding Ground has been a strange experience because I just sorta stumbled into it. I never expected it to become a full-on series. Like I said, I'm still learning as I go along, and because I'm a discovery writer, up until about a month or two ago I had no idea how the story was going to progress. The thing is, as I've started taking it more and more seriously, plans have started to form. I now have an idea of the arc that I want to take, and mentally I'm ready to start that storyline, but plot-wise I'm not there yet. So once I was all done with the short story, I started work on Volume 8, which as of now is untitled, but for the first few weeks I had some serious writer's block because I was struggling to tune my brain back into the right frequency. I'm also in a weird position because I know where I want to go but not necessarily how to get there, and I need to figure out the right moves to make to get the characters into place. Each day I was opening up my random thoughts document and just jotting down ideas, different directions I could take, lines of dialogue, scenery descriptions. I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do. Slowly but surely a picture started to form. I knew where I was going. It got to the point where I'd written a decent chunk of the chapter and I was happy with how it was going, but then I had an epiphany that made my heart sink. What I'd written would have completely trashed my plans for the future by advertising them like a neon sign on the highway that read, "This is what I'm planning on doing." I was trying to pick up the pace a bit, but what I initially thought was foreshadowing was absolutely not. It would have been totally obvious where I was going, as transparent as a freshly washed window. It would have laid my plot out in front of the reader and destroyed any suspense or mystery that I might have wanted to build up. I'm so lucky that I caught it because it would have ruined everything, and I think the only reason that I did is that Lee is so willing to listen when I'm firing random ideas in her direction. As far as I was concerned, I was on a roll. The chapter was well underway and I was doing a good job. It was having Lee there and saying everything out loud to her that made me realise how badly I almost screwed up. If I'd been left to my own devices, I might have written, recorded and uploaded it before it hit me, and I feel like I dodged a bullet because that would have been the worst. I would have been so mad at myself. I'm actually kinda glad that it happened because it's taught me a valuable lesson. I've been putting too much pressure on myself. I don't want to leave too long between volumes, so I was rushing, but in my position as an inexperienced author, that's not a good idea. I need to take my time. Another thing I've realised is that so far I've been a pantser or a discovery writer, whatever name you want to use for it, and that's not something that's working for me anymore. I keep getting writer's block because I sit down to write and have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm ever going to have a solid outline because that's just not my style, but I do need a loose framework at the very least. After just about avoiding that pitfall, I was back to square one and I had no idea what I was going to do, which was quite intimidating. In the end, I opened up a new document and asked myself what I wanted to achieve with this volume. I wrote down a few loose ideas for character development, a couple of lines of dialogue and some scene descriptions. It took a couple of days to get the ball rolling again, but now I have a better idea of the challenges I'm facing and how to tackle them. I'm 2,500 words in, which is about the halfway mark, and I'm quite pleased with how it's going. So there you go, you live and you learn. That's not the first mistake I've made and it won't be my last, but that's what makes the writing process so much fun, and to be honest, I'm quite enjoying my author journey. For the question of the day, why don't you tell me about a time that you narrowly avoided a disaster? Have you enjoyed this video? If so, the like and subscribe buttons are just sitting there, waiting to be pressed. Now press them, or I'll place a curse on you that replaces your toilet roll with sandpaper at the last minute. If you've got thoughts to share, or you just want to say hi and have a chat, you know where the comment section is, and you can join the discussions in the Dark Discord server, link in the description. Thanks ever so much for spending time with me today, guys. Until next time, take care. For now I'm off, and you should have a good one.